On the phone is Congressman Sam Graves from Missouri 6th District. And Congressman Graves, good morning to you and welcome back to the program.
Good morning.
All right, let's talk about you have put together legislation dealing with Second Amendment rights. And it's interesting because part of this legislation specifically targets some things that were actually going on in Illinois, as we aren't big fans of Second Amendment rights in Illinois at all. So talk to me a little bit about what this bill does and what you're looking to accomplish with it.
Well, the bill's real simple, and basically it prevents states and municipalities from adding new taxes on the sale of firearms or ammunition. And we are seeing that around the country as a way to regulate or to slow down the sale of firearms and ammunition. As a way to do that, you're seeing a lot of municipalities just imposing a tax, and trying to get as much as they can from that, just to try to, I guess, infringe. And that's part of the problem. That's where I believe it's in conflict with the Constitution, because it states the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, and this is infringing upon their right to do that. So we're just trying to stop it.
Who has been your major opponent with this, or has anyone spoken up against it? Because this is one of the tacks that many people expected the left to take in order to put those artificial limits on the availability.
Well, we just filed the bill, obviously, so the opposition is just in the process, I guess, of forming. But it will come from the municipality organizations, state organizations. It'll come from the folks who want to regulate the sale of firearms. In fact, I imagine all of the organizations that want to regulate that are going to be opposed to it. So we're predicting some pretty, big opposition to it.
What's the trajectory of this bill, really? I mean, ultimately, what's the expected length of time in the event that you were able to get it passed? Do you expect passage? I guess I would expect passage in the House, but do you expect to get it through the Senate or even past the president?
Well, the president, I can't answer. The Senate, I think we have a real good chance. I think we will get it past the House. I think in the Senate, we have a Senate that, for the most part, is pro, Second Amendment rights. So I am hopeful that we can get it through the Senate. The president, he may decide not to sign it. I don't know. He has a much different, obviously, attitude towards Second Amendment rights than I do. And one of the areas, and you mentioned earlier, one of the areas that has taken advantage of the opportunity to tax the sale of firearms and ammunition has been Chicago, which is obviously where he is from. So I don't know, and I can't predict that, and I'm going to move forward with it. I've heard people say, well, if the president isn't going to sign it, why would you work on it? Well, I'm not going to determine, whether or not I pass legislation or move legislation based on what the president thinks. I want to put that legislation on his desk and let him make that decision then. Yes.
Well, and because I think if Republicans were to wait or to only file legislation they thought the president would
that's right.
Would sign, we wouldn't be doing anything.
That would be a defeatist attitude, right?
Yeah. and then you would.
And I think it'll, it certainly is something that he's going to have to make a decision if it gets to his desk, and I hope he doesn't make the wrong decision. I hope he makes the right one, and I guess we'll see.
Is this a preemptive move, or have you noticed this going on in Missouri already?
Well, you're hearing, obviously, it's a preemptive move for some areas. It's just trying to stop it in other areas because it is happening in various parts around the country. Missouri, the good news is in Missouri, though, we are a very pro-Second Amendment state, and that bodes well. But you do hear, talk of this coming out of our urban centers, whether that be St. Louis or Kansas City. But regardless, Missouri, we're lucky enough to live in a state that, in fact, the legislature passed some great pieces of legislation this year that were very pro-Second Amendment. So I'm not so much worried about Missouri, but I want to make sure that in the future we don't ever have to worry about, Missouri or any other state for that matter, and that's one of the reasons why we're fine.
All right, Congressman, I was starting to sweat because here on the east side of the river, we like to refer to Missouri as the land of the free. So if it was already going on there, we knew we were going to have trouble. And number two, you're going to have to start including Columbia soon in your urban population centers, the way that's growing.
It is, and Columbia has a much less conservative view of things than the rest of the state does.
Well, they're going to start to fit in with that I-70 line, St. Louis, Columbia, Kansas City. That seems to be where you get more of that progressive mindset there, and the population also a lot younger in Columbia, too, and that's a byproduct of that.
It is, and I lived in Columbia for 4 years, and very well aware of some of the thoughts and attitudes, and of course that has a lot to do with the university there. But I would agree, I would completely include that in that I-70 corridor mindset, however you want to describe it.
Congressman Sam Graves, our guest this morning in the morning meeting. Congressman, I want to ask you about the Farm Bill. That's something that is in the news now as far as legislation is concerned, and there's a lot of debate over it. Kind of where are you sitting on this thing? Because we're seeing all these different news stories float out here talking about Speaker Boehner is going to face a leadership test and different things like that, and they've pared it down. Where's the Farm Bill stand, and where are you on it?
Well, I support the House version right now. I think it does the right things. It keeps in place an insurance program that works. Farmers want to be in charge of their own destiny and be able to have insurance for those bad years, obviously, and it does away with the direct payments, direct subsidies. I am very much in favor of that. And I think it does the right things. What we have to worry about, though, and the Farm Bill is designed to make sure we maintain that affordable food supply. We have the safest and most abundant and most affordable food supply in the world. And the reason for that is through food policy that we have. The problem is in the past we've had a pretty interesting coalition between urban lawmakers and rural lawmakers. Urban lawmakers obviously very interested in nutrition programs, food stamps, WIC, things like that. Rural obviously interested in the agriculture portion. Well, that coalition is pretty much completely broken down now, and you will see an attempt on the House floor to completely strip agriculture, which includes the conservation programs, which includes rural development programs, loan programs out there that communities use, and they are loan programs. But you will see an attempt to strip that completely out and just have it be a complete nutrition program or food stamp program. And that's what we have to worry about, and what Speaker Boehner obviously has to worry about is maintaining that agriculture component, which is only 20% of the bill as it is. So you've seen we're going to cut about $30 billion out of the Farm Bill itself, and about half of that we want to come from nutrition, about half of it from agriculture. But you will see an attempt to try to strip ag completely out of it and just make it nutrition, and that'll be where the big battle comes from on the floor of the House.
All right. Congressman Sam Graves, we got to leave it there. We're short on time, but we appreciate you spending a few moments with us this morning, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, Congressman.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Banned in China by Hu Jintao.
It's disgraceful.
And in Berkeley by hippies trying to escape reality.
That's despicable.
The Morning Meeting with Brian and Sean on AM 930 WTAD.